Welcome back to the BenchWarmers podcast. I'm Colton Smith, and I just moved my laptop in front of the screen at the last second. I am your host, here with producer Josh Northcutt, co-host Ben Miller, and director Garrett Jordan. Garrett got his light on there nice so we can see that beautiful mug. Fellas, it has been a while since we have had a show, and who knows if this one's going to get out with the final schedules is.
Yeah. I mean, with
so
the way
we could be talking into the dead air right now.
Yeah,
Right?
I'm going to do my best to get these out. All right, I promise you. Let me just finish this solo project that was due last Thursday, and then I'll get this done.
Yeah. Finals has been. Yeah. I'm just gonna say it. Cover your ears, Gabe. Kicking my ass.
Pretty blanket statement there.
Yeah,
pretty blanket.
It's pretty much everyone kind of has that same feeling. I don't remember it being this bad past years. I swear.
Well,
there's been some rough finals like days or so, but it's been like 3 weeks for me, dog.
It's all those 400 classes, man. Once you get up into those, it's brutal.
It is brutal.
I'm not a fan of it. That's all I know. And I'm like, can we just get the break? Oh wait, we had that break, which I still don't like that we come back for 2 weeks. But and for me, it's only a week because EMB we really don't have finals. So
I cannot wait until my eternal break coming up here in a couple of weeks.
And plus, I'm working on 2 EMB 400 projects right now, and it's definitely kicking my rear end for sure. And I just can't wait for it to all be done.
Yeah, I broke my personal record last night. Stayed up till 4:35. I think was the last time that I saw before I drifted away to sleep. But
this is not a college discussion, so let's talk a little bit about fantasy football.
Technically it can.
Yeah, it can.
That sounds more
actually,
fun.
There was an announcement. There was an announcement I wanted to make. This will be the last or I guess actually the next one. I'll wait for the next one to make that announcement. Keep the suspense. Nobody in here knows what my announcement's going to be either. It's nothing crazy, It's just a huge, life-changing event. Anywho, let's go ahead and get into the fantasy scoreboard that I had pulled up on my phone. And right at the top there is a very, very painful loss. I worked a long Sunday on a project. I took a little break to watch the Panthers and the Buccaneers ending because I was up 5 points on Classic Phil. Well, they go to overtime. The Bucs aren't giving White the ball at all, and then on a random occasion in their own territory, they're like, "Oh yeah, let's hand it off to White. He gets 38 yards, and that is the difference of the 100.54 points from Classic Phil and 99.58 from me. Yep, lost by 1 point. Saquon did all he could. Puka did all he could. Really came down to Will Dissly. Giving me 0 points. I guess I should have started Kyle Pitts. Oh, wait. He had 0 points as well. So regardless, I was cooked. Anyways, moving on down to Beyond My Pain. We have Fight, defeating Deshaun, saving my number 1 seed candidacy. 122 to 114. Presidential Powerhouse bounces back, defeating Ben's best team, 123 to 117. Baker's dozen. I believe that is, yes, definitely the most points scored this week. 167 on the week over Cut My Life and the Breeses, who had 111, cementing himself at the bottom, which means we all get some drinks on Josh. Drinking Kool-Aid, of course.
Kool-Aid.
And finally, Trey's talented team. They won 145-91 over the Chenry 20s, who are kind of slipping here over these last couple of weeks, but that finally, we already pretty much had the playoffs, but we'll go ahead and remind you because actually we did not have it last week. Kyle Pitts' legacy season. Deshaun team. Gosh, I can't say the name. And we both had the buys at 1 and 2, and then your 3 and 4 seed or the 3 and 6 game is the Baker's dozen from 0 and 3 to the 3 seed. That's pretty solid there, Garrett. Going up against Trey's talented team at 9 and 6, and then the Presidential Powerhouse is the 4 seed, and Chenry 20s is the 5 seed. Anything you guys have say? Any closing thoughts from these two or Garrett going into the playoffs?
Congrats, Garrett. You said this was your first time playing fantasy, right?
Congrats,
this was
Garrett.
my first time.
I mean, the amount of crap you got those first 3 weeks, man.
Yeah, no kidding.
I was
first
happy to
3
see the
weeks.
turnaround.
I'm gonna say I can't talk any crap. I was in the cellar. I was there all year. by far, this is the worst year of fantasy football I've ever had. Like
Across all?
Oh, across all. The only thing that has saved me is my wallet, and gambling has been very beneficial. As you guys have saw on Sunday, I hit that 9 leg. So
it's a trade-off. You would never gamble, though.
No.
It's all pretend.
Pretend money, Monopoly money. But I don't know. I'll rebound next year.
I'm going to rebound again next year, though. I mean,
it's just set your lineup once or twice, and you might actually be in the playoffs.
Set your lineup a time or two. He's got 6-7 wins. He would have beat me.
Hey, give me a break. I was busy on Sundays. All right,
that's fair.
Yeah.
I would like to officially thank Brock Bowers and throw his hat in the ring for maybe Rookie of the Year discussion.
I actually, how is he not in Rookie of the Year discussion?
Yeah, that's surprising.
Because he's playing for the Raiders.
Yeah,
is it the exact
I agree
same
that
argument?
he should be in those discussions. I'm just making the point
Is
that
it the exact same argument people use for Joe Burrow playing at an MVP level, but he's on a 4-8 Bengals team?
I mean, yeah,
that's pretty much exactly. I mean, he's MVP if they're 8-4. So,
I mean, arguably.
Now, I was trying not to talk about that team this week, but here we go.
Sorry,
they're not on the rundown.
They're not on the rundown.
Wait, they are. Crap. All right.
Speaking of said rundown, let's go ahead and get through that. Talking about our primetime games from last week. You didn't get to see any of our picks, but the Bears Bears did not defeat the Lions, but they were on the road, and they're the first team on the schedule. But the Lions defeated the Bears 23-20 in a thrilling Thanksgiving matchup. The only one I did watch a little bit of the Dolphins and Packers. The Giants lost to the Cowboys 27-20. The Packers defeated the Dolphins in a locker room that's apparently getting lost 30-17. Maybe we'll talk about that a bit. The Chiefs snuck away from the Raiders once again, 19-17. The Bills throttled the 49ers 35-10. Niners were not ready for that cold weather. And the Broncos survived the Browns 41-32. It just wrapped up 2 nights ago. That was a pretty good game there.
Yeah, no, I mean, the Browns win that game if Jameis isn't Jameis. But they're also not in it if Jameis isn't Jameis.
It's the beauty of Jameis Winston. That's why I need him to be a consistent starter
I'm going
in
to
the
say,
NFL.
I have to say, I want him starting, just not for my team.
Right. Yeah, exactly.
I heard somebody explain that. I'm like, that's perfect. Like, I want to see Jameis in this league. I just don't want him starting anywhere near my team.
Dude is literally an RPG. Just throws unmanned rockets. He doesn't matter. It's just going to somebody.
It sure is. But, I mean, I was just thinking during this game, though, if Jameis was there the whole year, I think this is an above 500 team.
Oh,
Absolutely.
definitely.
I think they probably grab a couple more wins.
Could they be the best offense in the NFL?
Yes.
There it is.
Proved it last night.
They weren't the best offense in that game, even. The Broncos had more points.
They showed flashes.
They
showed flashes.
They sure did.
Yeah.
But
you know what? I hate that we're going just into this game.
who
But
even is the best offense league? I don't think we ever looked that up.
I don't know. I don't
New
know.
tier
who it
list.
is.
New tier list. Best offenses in the league.
But no, I hate to go just to the Monday night game because every other game that happened earlier in the week, but they're far enough away. This is the most important one. Did anyone see the post game? Jameis Winston opened admitting he's like, I just pray to God that those pick sixes are going to stop.
Yes,
I did.
Pray
I
to
did read
God
that.
to deliver him from pick six.
Yeah, I did read that last night.
Dude, I was dying.
He's been praying since that 30 for 30 season.
Man, he's just such a awesome. Like, he is a great face for the NFL.
Definitely.
They need to build around him. The Browns would be stupid if he's not the starting quarterback next year.
Exactly.
Pending other situations of other rumors that have been out there, Dak Prescott. But it would just be
the guy to fix the job.
It would just be one of those interesting situations to see because I think they might find a way out of that Deshaun Watson deal with more allegations rumored possibly on the uprise.
Good Lord.
Jeez.
To sum up everything, still to this day, I'm going to find it funny that when his career is all said and done in Cleveland, he will have more charges that settled outside of court than he will have touchdown passes in a Browns uniform.
It won't even be close.
No, it won't be. But you mentioned the 49ers weren't ready for the Bills. Or the cold weather.
Yeah.
It also doesn't help when your best player is injured, and it's just it was. If you would have saw the show, and I actually would have did my job, the 49ers were just a West Coast team going into that cold where the Bills are practicing it in weekly and so on and so forth, and then you had the snow on top of it. It's just California boys aren't built like that.
Yeah.
But man, it's a shame to see McCaffrey's season end that way.
Yeah.
And then Jordan Mason's season's over also. So
Yeah.
I know before we got on here, Garrett was celebrating because he's got Isaac G.
Well,
But
I do not want to celebrate that.
no, but you're celebrating because you got Isaac G, who's now going to be the running back there and probably go for like 200 yards this week and everything else because that's just what San Francisco running backs do.
I accept Isaac Guerrero as my RB1 painfully because those are two massive losses for the 49ers, and as much as I don't like the team, I feel for them because they've just been racked with injuries all year.
Yeah, I mean,
for sure.
I thought like the Bengals were bad. No, the Niners are by far worse.
Yeah, their playoff hopes are over in my opinion.
Okay, I was going to say, is this the nail in the coffin?
It has to be.
Dead.
Yeah. I mean, no C-Mac, no Mason though, and these next few games they got to win though, and I absolutely do not see it happening whatsoever. I mean, this 49er squad, they're in trouble.
And you know what? Since it's the beginning of the month, we might as well just take a look at the standings. AFC, Kansas City Chiefs are obviously in first, 11-1. As we mentioned, they somehow escaped with the win over the Raiders. The Bills are 10-2, and they'll own the tiebreaker over the Chiefs if they have the same record. Sitting in third is the 9-3 Pittsburgh Steelers. Russell Wilson still throwing touchdown passes and passing yards, 400 of them versus the Bengals secondary. Houston Texans 8-5, Chargers 8-4, Ravens 8-5, and Broncos 8-5. Colts 6-7, Dolphins maybe 5-7 are the teams left. Technically, mathematically, the Bengals and Browns are still alive.
You didn't have to say that.
But Bengals, Browns, Jets, Titans are all technically still alive. Patriots, Jags, Raiders eliminated. Then in the NFC, where it's, I would argue, a 3-4 team race. It's kind of hard. Lions 11-1, Eagles 10-2, Seahawks 7-5. How about the Seahawks, Garrett?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. We just keep finding ways to win, and everybody else in our division keeps finding ways to lose.
The Atlanta Falcons are sitting in the fourth place at 6-6. Minnesota Vikings 10-2, but would be a wild card team.
Dumb.
The Green Bay Packers 9-3 would also be a wild card team. Both those teams would have to go on the road. Minnesota would have to go to Atlanta, and Green Bay would have to go to Seattle if the playoffs ended today. And then the Commanders are 8-5, holding the last spot in the wild card. Bucks, Cardinals, Rams all 6-6. Niners, Cowboys 5-7. Yeah, they're done. Saints 4-8, Bears 4-8, and somehow the Panthers still aren't eliminated at 3-9. I guess they could technically win the division if they won out.
Yeah.
And then the only team eliminated in the NFC are your New York Giants.
Yeah, that's quite the rundown there.
Yeah, quite the rundown for sure.
It's an interesting place that we find ourselves in with the Vikings in the wild card right now. And I kind of question that Vikings team a little bit, I must say. I kind of feel like some cracks are forming. That Cardinals team absolutely could have beat them on their home turf. Mm-hmm. And it feels like they're just kind of surviving through games like the Chiefs did. They're not winning as, what's the word? Convincingly
Yep.
as they were at the beginning of the season. I feel like that's something that might come up in the playoffs.
The only thing I do say to that is a lot of times they don't ask you how you win, just if you won.
Yeah,
and
and
so
that
just find ways to win.
It kind of snowballs until you get to the playoffs, and then
Correct.
you know there's just a little more to it. You have to, I don't know, bring it a more level of intensity. But
Well, I'm gonna say their ending schedule: Falcons, Bears, at Seahawks, Packers, at Lions. That last month is a
tough.
tough stretch.
Brutal.
So it'll be interesting to see how they turn about.
Agreed.
Sam Darnold doesn't look like the guy. I know me and Ben were talking about it, and I was like, yeah, that's JJ's team next year.
Absolutely.
No matter what happens, it's literally Darnold. Thanks
What
for
about Daniel Jones?
Darnold, thanks for your time. There's the door. Daniel Jones is probably holding a clipboard. Backing up JJ McCarthy where he belongs.
I mean,
but I don't want that Duke stench near Michigan anyway.
yeah, I mean, Darnold, he started out the year good though, but the last couple of weeks though, he's just been so inconsistent though. So yeah, is what it is.
It is what it is.
it is what it is.
But was there any game that stood out to anybody before we talked about anything?
I just kind of wanted to highlight, especially just some of the games that we had in our rundown here. Just talking about some of the circus plays that we saw. over the weekend. I mean, obviously everybody saw on Sunday night the Josh Allen was it scored as a receiving and rushing touchdown?
No, receiving and passing.
Receiving and passing touchdown on the same play. So that was very fun to watch, and it's always nice to see a team that's not the Chiefs do something like that.
Yeah, for sure.
Raiders, that was sad. I don't know what the hell happened there.
I'm going to say, I do want to clear something up. I know a lot of people are like, oh, the refs called a false start. There is a rule. Kirk Herbstreit put it out on his Twitter page because he didn't know about the rule, but then it was explained to him by whoever the NFL ref is that does their games for him, that was the right call. It technically is not a false start because the clock wasn't running, so you play the play out as if it actually happened, which means it is a fumble recovery and not just a basic false start. So no, the refs weren't helping the Chiefs.
Interesting.
For once.
Yeah.
For once.
Come on. Come on. Let's not be that guy.
There's literally an extensive list of like just very questionable calls from the refs on the Chiefs if you want to watch that, but
I'm gonna wrap up this circus act with the greatest final act of all time, and that would be Matt Eberflus's clock management.
All right, I was waiting for somebody to say it.
Let's discuss that, boys. What the hell happened in that last 30 seconds?
Absolute buffoonery. At first I was thinking, or no, just pretty much throughout it I was thinking like, oh no. Something fell. No, the one that's the Matt's fell off. Matt Supinger.
Oh no.
So he must have heard us talking about Matt. But anywho, like I was like, well, Caleb Williams is probably waiting for him to call a timeout or something. Like, and then it was like Caleb Williams just goes like, I don't blame Caleb Williams for that at all. Like, call a timeout. You have a rookie quarterback out there late in the game. Call a timeout and make a play.
Yeah, but he should also call the timeout. He's a grown man.
Is he allowed to?
Yeah. The player's allowed to do it all the time. You see the quarterbacks do it literally. Anytime they see the play clock getting down to 1, they're always asking for the timeout. The quarterback's allowed to do it anytime.
Right.
I think the quarterback is the only one.
Just as much.
Correct. The fact that he defended it was what blew my mind.
The post-game presser that he gave was one of the weirdest post-game pressers I have ever heard because there's no defending what he did.
It's just bad call.
You have 40 seconds left, a timeout in your pocket, and you just let the clock run all the way down, and then you say, oh, well, the clock hits under 12 seconds, and you just say, there's nothing you can do. You just have to throw it to the end zone. Take your time out.
Exactly.
You have it. That's why it's there.
Yeah.
This is the most excited I've ever seen you talking NFL.
Yeah.
I could not believe that's why I jumped. I don't know if you saw that.
College football must be coming to a close. You got nothing else to talk about.
It's just, it's one of the dumbest things I've ever seen in the NFL. He doesn't deserve to be a head coach. I'm so glad that they fired him.
Yeah.
It'll be interesting to see what the Bears look like under Thomas Brown, but Matt Eberflus should not be allowed near a sideline for the rest of his life.
I'm going to say, I can promise you right now, if y'all can remember and backtrack, this was my biggest thing. I was not a fan of that guy. Right. I never understood keeping him. It goes back to the fact, again, when you got a rookie quarterback, you need a offensive-minded head coach. It's the way it should always be. Can you imagine if Harbaugh was there? That's where he originally wanted to go.
DeAndre Swift would be going crazy right now if Harbaugh was there.
Swift wouldn't have been there. They would have brought in somebody else.
The quarterback whisperer is Harbaugh.
I mean, he's turned Herbert into a 1-interception guy.
Yep.
Okay.
I mean, you make plays.
Like Herbert was already a 1-interception guy.
No, he threw some decent picks. It was one of those Hollywood things you didn't pay attention to much. But no, I mean, Harbaugh coaching that Caleb Williams and easing him into it, letting him build off the defense, a very good defense. Look what he's done in the Chargers with Jesse Minter, who might be a head coach next year. Yep. By the way, I don't know if y'all know that. That's a Cincinnati kid right there. Jesse Minter grew up in Delhi, went to Mount St. Joe.
Interesting. I recognize the name. I didn't know it was Mount St. Joe.
Yeah, well, his dad coached for UC for years before you were born. Before you were born.
I do know that name.
Interesting.
Though.
Yeah.
I know what you're talking about.
But yeah, so no, there was executives that came out after the Chargers win on Monday night versus the Bengals that came out and said, like, openly, there's 3 or 4 NFC teams that are like, we messed up not hiring Harbaugh. I can assume who those were, and the Bears are definitely one of them.
Absolutely.
But one thing I did want to mention, since you wanted to talk about highlights, did anybody see the big man interception in Seattle?
Yes, Leonard Floyd.
Leonard Williams. Leonard Williams.
Doesn't even know his own thing.
Returning
It was Leonard.
Returning to New York, where he played a lot of years under the Jets, taking it 92 yards to the house.
Beautiful.
Wow.
Man,
Gorgeous.
anytime as a fat man myself that I see a fat man touchdown, I get happy.
I call it a thick six.
That is fantastic.
Yeah.
I think a big game that we do want to talk about before we move on is the Eagles and Ravens, the Bird Bowl, whatever you want to call it, 24-19. I feel like neither team at points wanted to win this game.
Yeah.
Finally, Saquon got to the fourth quarter and was like, "Yeah, I'm the best running back in the league." Just said it. I said it. He's best running back in the league
Right now.
And right now it changes week to week if we're being honest, but. And the Eagles end up winning that game. Ravens tried to come back, 24-19, the final score. What did you guys think from this game?
I mean, overall, though, my biggest takeaway, though, is Justin Tucker. I mean, the Eagles, the Ravens should have won that game.
Your like 5th or 6th round pick?
Justin Tucker, you let me down this week, man. Like, what the hell? But yeah, he's just not the same player that we're used to seeing, though. I mean, he's just having such a rough year, and it's so sad to see him go down that path. But I feel like if he would have nailed those field goals and that one extra point, Ravens would have won. But
Mathematically,
glad he didn't. But. Mathematically, yes.
But he owned up to it in his press game conference, though. He said, "Yeah, this one's on me. I cost us the win." So,
Yeah.
hopefully he'll come back from it, though. But as of right now, I don't see it happening.
Nah, I'm not going to say hope for anything. I want the Ravens to somehow miss the plaplayoffs. Let's be honest.
it'd be beautiful.
Those fan base, that's the same fan base that was cheering as Joe Burrow was injured. Nah, screw that franchise. Or we're going to have to make sure that the kid doesn't watch this episode this week.
Screw's not a bad. It's not a curse word.
But anyway, so just to tell you how bad Justin Tucker has been, he's 39th out of all kickers, making 70% of his kicks. 29th in extra points, making only 95% of those. Bad is an understatement. So they were talking about it, and it's got to be something in his head. Like McAfee kind of broke it down again. If you ever want to go back and watch that,
I saw a video of when he was warming up against the Chiefs in the AFC Championship last year, though, and some people were saying, though,
the Chiefs stole his power.
Ever since that's happened, though, the Chiefs have stole his power. I mean, like you see Travis Kelce pick up his helmet, all of his kicking gear, and 2 footballs, all that off the sideline. So yeah, I'm with it. He hasn't been the same player ever since then.
Yeah, but I think it's to the point where the Ravens may have to be like, "Hey, Justin, you're detrimental to the team. We're gonna have to put you on the IR for the year." You're done. We're gonna have to bring in another kicker because you can't cut Justin Tucker,
right?
No.
But he's borderline, like 70%. We're complaining about Evan McPherson. This man is literally losing games on a weekly basis and coming close to losing it for the Ravens.
As opposed to just last season winning games.
His entire career there. He's arguably the greatest kicker of all time outside Adam Vinatieri. It's a toss-up of what you want of. Vinatieri's got the more clutch kicks.
But, we're just used to this guy showing up in big moments. Like he had the nickname Mr. I Don't Miss. So
he does not have that anymore.
No, unfortunately, he does not.
Money Mac, I guess people still call him that, but I sure as hell don't.
Not this year. Not this year.
If I call him that, he's money because he makes money. He doesn't really do anything with it.
I do find it interesting that I'm seeing an increase in the amount of Justin Tucker ads as he is growing progressively worse.
Well, same thing with Travis Kelce. It's funny how that works,
Interesting.
But
one side note before we move on, I do want to send out a little prayer for Trevor Lawrence. Hope he gets good soon. And Aziz Al-Shaair, what are you doing?
That was the dirtiest hit I think I've seen in the NFL in years.
Yeah,
he was
I agree.
Plainly sliding down and just didn't even attempt to lift off.
Forearm smash to the face.
Yeah.
That was an MMA fight, like legit. Like that's illegal in the UFC.
Exactly.
That has no business in the NFL. And then the GM, 3 games is too much. Shut up. Just shut up.
Yeah. Well, let's go ahead and move along to our primetime picks for this week. We have an interesting lineup of games, starting with the best Thursday night football game. I don't know why I almost said Sunday, but Thursday night football game of the year so far, maybe outside of the opening one. The Packers and Lions. The Packers are traveling to Detroit for that game. Kickoff at 8:15. I think this is where the Lions take a loss, and it's not really. I think they probably will end up winning, but I feel like there's just something with they need to lose another game, and this feels like the right spot against a division opponent. At home, though, it's going to be tougher than it looks, but I have the Packers pulling through.
Yeah, for myself, I mean, it'll be interesting to see how the Lions will bounce back after their sluggish performance against the Bears. But Packers offense, though, I feel like is going to be tough. I mean, you got 2 top 3 offenses going at it with each other, and both quarterbacks are going to be throwing the ball downfield. I feel like that's going to be one of the most beneficial things in this matchup. But I'm going with the Lions in this one.
I got the Packers still winning the Super Bowl. Give me the Packers.
Okay. I forgot about it. It's been so long. We need to do a video where we're looking at that stuff.
Yeah.
But then on Fox, the Fox game of the week at 1 p.m. Weird because that's usually at 4 o'clock. But the latest.
I think I might have overrided the schedule and made that. Just look at the game and think about why.
Oh, okay. Oh yes, the Kirk Cousins Bowl. The Falcons traveling to Minnesota to face off against the Minnesota Vikings. Like I said, 1 p.m. kickoff on Fox, and I don't even know where to go here. 2 teams. I think I'll just stick with the Vikings. I think they got a little more in there. The Falcons have been kind of sputtering these last couple weeks, so give me Minnesota.
Yeah. I was kind of going back and forth on this one, though, but I feel like the Vikings, they have the edge on defense, and I feel like that's going to be beneficial. So give me Minnesota.
Josh is going to save the graphic.
There's talks of Kirk getting benched. I don't know if you've seen that. They've been interviewing Michael Penix, and Penix is like, I think he's going to turn it around. Kirk Cousins going back to Minnesota? Nah, give me Atlanta. Absolutely.
Yes, sir. Kirko Chainz is going to raid U.S. Bank Stadium.
Hey, last time I checked, it's not a primetime game. Kirk's got this.
Yes, sir.
That's a good point. That's a great point. The Seahawks and the Cardinals, they played like 2 weeks ago, but another.
Literally, I think it was 2 weeks ago.
Yeah. 2 weeks ago. But I think still has some weight on it. What the Seahawks 7-5, the Cardinals 6-6.
Yeah, I mean, literally, it would be tied for the division.
So now we're back in the situation, but now the Cardinals are the ones that are behind one, and the Seahawks are ahead, as opposed to the Cardinals were ahead, and then the Seahawks tied it back. So here's a chance for the Cardinals at home to flip it. I had the Cardinals winning on the road, so I'm gonna have them winning at home, getting their revenge on Seattle.
Yeah, I mean, you got 2 great defenses, though. You got a great running back in James Conner, so give me Arizona.
I'm going to take the Seahawks. I think there's something going on there, man, and I think Mike McDonald needs to be in discussion for Coach of the Year because no one saw Seattle hanging around like this.
Yeah.
Ben, for the record, the Seahawks have a great running back named Kenneth Walker III.
Yeah, I forgot to take notes on that guy. Yeah, thanks for that.
You said James Conner, great running back. I'm like, well, there's a better running back on the Seahawks sideline. I ain't going to not mention him. He gives me like 20 points a week. So Sunday Night Football, 8:20, the Chargers and the Chiefs, AFC West matchup here. A very, very big one because if the Chargers want any chance of coming back, which I don't know if they do, but actually this is probably more bigger for the Bills, I guess, now that I think of it, as if the Chiefs fall in this game, they have the tiebreaker, and the Bills would be the #1 seed. Words are hard at this stage in my life, but I'm going to let you guys start on this one.
For myself, as much as I want to see the Chargers knock off the Chiefs at Arrowhead, but I feel like that KC defense is going to show up, so give me Kansas City.
I mean, are we really asking me who I'm picking to win? There's no doubt about it. It's my 35th birthday, and I only need one thing, and that's a hardball win in Arrowhead, baby. Give me the Chargers.
All right.
I'm taking the Chargers as well. Mostly because I want to see that happen, and also because it feels like the Chiefs need to drop another game here, and at some point it's got to happen. They're not.
Look, they can't keep winning these one-score games. Yeah. 14 in a row, lucky crap all over the place.
I hope they
going up against a Chargers team that has gotten better each and every week. Definitely since the first time they played a first time, right?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. So definitely better than the first time they played. Give me the Chargers to get revenge here and make the Chiefs the #2 seed, which would be a beautiful sight to see.
Absolutely.
Lastly, we have Monday Night Football.
The Simpson Bowl.
The Simpson Bowl.
That's right.
Between the Bengals and the Cowboys. That kicks off at 8:15. I guess I have the Bengals in this one. I don't know, though. Cooper Rush may look like the second coming of Tom Brady.
Last time he played the Bengals, he beat him.
That's right.
Give me the Cowboys to defeat the Bengals.
I don't
even know
Garrett,
if I'm going to watch this game.
Garrett, I don't understand the disappointment in that. It's to the point of the year we want to lose games.
I did say
we
that.
got eliminated last week. Keep losing. Anyway.
Yeah. I mean, I feel like Rico Dowdle will continue the momentum from
Rico Dowdle.
Huh?
Dowdle.
Oh, Dowdle. Yeah. I still got to get used to that name. But I feel like he's going to continue the momentum from what he did last week, though. But the Bengals passing game, that'll be beneficial as always. But I'm going Bengals.
It's December. They're going to win irrelevant games. It's the Bengals.
Yeah.
They're going to run off 2 or 3 straight. I'm telling you. Top 10 pick. Bye. Pick 12, pick 13, pick 16.
Yeah, you know, you give me the Bengals. I switch.
I'm not kidding. I think the only quarterback since Burrow has entered a league that has a better record in the month of December is Patrick Mahomes.
Interesting.
Burrow doesn't lose in December, man.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, if only he would start winning in September.
Well, I mean, it's not his fault. 30.
He's still the quarterback of the team that loses.
Yeah, I mean, the man has put up 30 points. Okay. So the Bengals have scored over 30 points.
I'm not blaming Burrow.
Hold on,
you don't have to go on the spiel.
No, I need to get that.
I'm not blaming Burrow.
I want to say it's over 30 points is 52-5 is the record, or maybe 27-5. I forget what exactly it is. But out of the 5 losses, the Bengals are 4 of them.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. And then when you go back and take it down to 24 points, the Bengals have 6 losses. This is the defense. It's only the defense. They're slow. They can't tackle. Nobody wants to blame themselves. Jermaine Pratt's like, oh, Russell Wilson is just, you know what? I'm going to stop.
Yeah.
They're not going to ruin my mood.
Probably better.
Not after Saturday. Nothing will ruin my mood.
Yeah.
Talk about that.
Football, Bengals. Let's go. Any wrapping up thoughts that you guys would like to spew out there?
The one game we didn't get a chance to talk about, but I'm interested to hear your guys' take. The Rams are fighting for their playoff lives. It's 6-6. They need a big win, and they're at home versus the Bills.
Ooh.
You mentioned the Bills possibly needing that win to get the 1 seed.
Wouldn't it be a Bills thing to do to drop
the game in LA?
Yeah.
Because I mean, man, Matty Stafford needs that win. Like 6-6, you fall to 6-7, you're not out of it, but it's an uphill
things to
climb.
go your way. You can still control your destiny if you went out.
Correct. So just that's another game that I think is actually the game of the week on Fox.
It is.
But I was not gonna not let us talk Kirko, Chainz, and Vikings. I just overruled and I broke my own rules that I should have been doing for weeks. But oh well.
Yeah, it's quite all right.
I don't know. I feel like Josh Allen is firmly in the I'm chasing down Patrick Mahomes for best quarterback in the league right now mindset, and so I think the Bills have a high likelihood of just winning out the rest of the season.
I don't know. Don't sleep on Matthew Stafford in a dire situation. I'm just saying. All right. Is there anything else?
You also got the Shadur Sanders Bowl of the Jaguars and Titans.
Sanders.
Jaguars Titans play each other this week also, so that's just Shadur Bowl or Cam Ward Bowl, whatever one you prefer.
I would much rather see him go to Tennessee than I would Jacksonville.
I don't know if he's a Callahan type quarterback.
Is he?
Both of them like to run a little too much.
I mean, yeah, I guess.
Callahan has always had a pocket passer. Always. I cannot think of one mobile quarterback he's worked with.
I feel like Shadur tends to run more out of necessity. Rather, I think he could be a good pocket passer.
But I mean, will Dion let him go play in Nashville?
That's what I'm saying.
I
feel like there's worse places to go, like Jacksonville.
I'm telling you now. I think it's a lock. We're gonna see Shadur in Las Vegas. I'm buying into the story there.
Yeah, I 100% agree. Though, if he were to go anywhere in the draft, though, it's going to be Las Vegas for sure.
Well, they have to get the number 1 pick in order to do that, which they have a chance.
They're on a pretty good track.
They're on a pretty good track. I'm not saying it's impossible, but
they lose and the Jaguars win. They get it.
Yeah, that's true.
They're literally the Giants and Jaguars, Giants, and Raiders are all 2-10.
Yes. It's an interesting tank bowl shaping up this year, but I guess that's all we have, so I'll go ahead and wrap up the show. Thank you all for listening. Be sure to leave a like and hit that subscribe button if you did enjoy. We're trying to hit 50 subscribers, and what was the date that live show is the...
Yeah, we'll give it away on the live show. You're going to have to help me try to get all the subscriber names. There's a way to look it up on YouTube. But we'll put them all in some. I'm gonna do the duck race. I like that idea of everybody's name on the duck race, and we'll figure that out. And I'm gonna make Ben do the play-by-play of the duck race.
Yes.
Okay.
So that will be fantastic and something to look forward to.
Yeah, I'm down to do that. That sounds like fun.
I'm very excited to see how that all plays out. But be sure to check us out on Spotify and Apple Podcasts if you want to listen to it on your during your workout or on your way to work. And be sure to check us out on Twitter or X as well at NorseBW Pod. Thank you, Bill and NK Media Services, all that you do, making this show better each and every week. Thank you, Garrett, in the director's chair, doing all your hard work over there. Thank you, co-host, for coming on the show. And we'll see you all in the next one. Please don't kill me finals week.